can we save the Great Salt Lake? We've talked about this before. In fact, Bill did a really good analysis of this was it last month, I think, where you talked about it? That was really fascinating. And I hope that we're all paying attention to this. So in this case, the title is, How Can We Help the Great Salt Lake? I'm going to use my co-host Landon's favorite phrase for fasting, wishing without food, right? This is what we're going to do. And I wanted to point out that 2 years ago in 2023, I actually went to a blessing of the Great Salt Lake. It was a group led by Darren Perry. I think a lot of us know who he is. And we were all supposed to bring some extra water. That's my little water there in a jug. And there was a special ceremony. There were dancing, poetry, and everybody kind of poured their water. I mean, not obviously enough to make a difference, but symbolically back into the lake, and there was a special blessing said on it. So, this has been going on for years as we've seen the Salt Lake, shrivel, and people are really concerned and trying to do what they can. And BYU is no exception to this. This is an article that says BYU students are going to fast for the Great Salt Lake, but the fast itself is not the fix. And that's probably
good thing
true.
They're telling us that up front, because otherwise we'd be really disappointed when the fast didn't do anything.
Yeah. Fasting, I think, it's a way to feel empowered when you have no power. It's no different than a lot of other rituals that you may have for yourself or in a more organized way. But human beings, I think, are hardwired to try to do something when you have no power. Like I had a friend who said was concerned about her son going on a mission to a certain country. And she said, I will give up chocolate for the entire 2-year period. As long as one morsel of chocolate doesn't pass my lips, he will be safe. And that was her ritual that she came up with. It's the same kind of mindset, where you do something that's completely unrelated, but you relate it and it's powerful for you in your mind. It's kind of like a spell, right? A witch's spell. Anyway.
Yes, we are still not that far removed from ancient days, because we fast in order to make a sacrifice unto God of our suffering, so that he will hear our prayer and do what we want him to do. Now, fasting from that point of view is really what a person does who's just too scared to cut a finger off and offer it up to God.
I was going to say that. Head hunting. Yeah.
And God really knows.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we won't go that far, but you're right. So,
or animals, sacrificing animals, or
sacrificing animals.
I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about historically.
Exactly. No, we wouldn't want to do that historically, but you're right. Do something that's difficult. Give up something that's difficult. In some cases, take a life for the greater good. Okay. So it says
Christianity is based upon the concept.
Christianity is absolutely based upon the concept. If you really drill down, that is exactly what it is. So it says a newly formed coalition on Brigham Young University's campus is using faith to fight the drought plaguing the Great Salt Lake. The BYU Great Salt Lake Student Coalition is putting together a campus-wide fast to spread environmental awareness about Utah's water-starved natural wonder. And this is a key to it. It is to spread awareness. So I am on board with that, because by holding this fast, they're reaching out to all the different departments, all the different student groups, and trying to get them involved, raising the awareness. It says BYU student Katie Dunn, the coalition's founder, said the purpose of the organization is to give students all across the campus the opportunity to fight for the future of the Great Salt Lake. So again, to collectively do something, even though there's really nothing you can do in this way. Exactly. And there's a picture. You can see, if you guys have gone out there, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's I've never seen it like this, and I've been visiting the Salt Lake since I was a kid. So it really is having a problem. About the fast, for the coalition's first event, members are staging a campus-wide fast November 16th. So if anybody would like to participate, it's the 16th. For BYU students and other Latter-day Saints, and then it explains that fasting is a practice in which participants do not eat or drink for periods of time in exchange for spiritual blessings. That's interesting. That makes it sound like it's tit for tat. It really will happen. I would have written in hopeful exchange or wishful exchange or something like that, but that's what it says. And then it says this fast is not meant only for spiritual blessings, but also to help bring education and raise awareness about the crisis of Utah's Salt Lake. So that's what they're doing.
That's because fasting for the spiritual blessing of the fast fixing the Great Salt Lake has no chance of happening. The one thing you can do is raise awareness by
Mhm.
people noticing that you're doing a fast. I've said before that thoughts and prayers are literally the least you can do for someone. And I would put fasting in the same category.
Can I add that you couldn't have a better case study of a person or persons acknowledging the fact that they have no belief that fasting will do anything in the real world.
Yeah.
I think they're right, but it's surprising to hear it acknowledged and see it in print.